the opening to Schumann's Second Symphony, at least the first trumpet part. And when you play it by itself, it's a little challenging, which is why it's on most trumpet auditions. This is one of the excerpts that a lot of people are not particularly fond of. But one of my colleagues in the BSO, Tom Rawls, once said, well, once you figure out how to do it, it's not too difficult. So the trick is to figure out how to get comfortable with it, how to make it simple and easy. And the two things that that one must be very aware of when playing this are pitch and rhythm. Now I'm doing something a little different today. I've got a C rotary trumpet, and this is an instrument that would commonly be used to play the classical literature in the modern orchestra. Because it makes the job a little bit easier. It makes it easier to blend with the strings because of the characteristic sound of the instrument. And so it's something that's been favored. Now, you don't have to run out and buy a rotary trumpet. It's a different kind of instrument. It feels different to play it, and it takes a lot of work in order to get comfortable with it. But once you're used to playing rotary trumpet, it does make certain things a lot easier. And this is one of the excerpts that would normally be played on rotary if you have one available. Some orchestras actually require that you play it on rotary, and if you don't have one, they will provide one, which puts you at a significant disadvantage because you don't know the instrument very well. So if you're serious about playing in the orchestra and auditioning and getting a job in an orchestra, at some point you may want to invest in a rotary trumpet. That being said, it's not so much about the trumpet that you play, it's how well you play. And so the two things you want to be mindful, as any experienced orchestra player will tell you, are pitch and rhythm. So I want to make a couple of quick comments about pitch and about rhythm in this piece. One is, even if you play it perfectly in tune, it can still sound out of tune. What do I mean? What I mean is that if you play it so the tuner tells you that you're correct with just intonation, right? So all the intervals are just locked in. Or you train yourself with a drone to play it, which is an excellent way to practice, and you play it perfectly in tune, but your sound changes, the color of your sound changes between the notes, or the size and the shape of the notes changes in a way that's not complementary to the music. So you hear this quite a bit from the first note. Now, I'm not very far off the pitch, but it doesn't sound right because the note is, you can hear, I think it's pinched. It's a little dull sounding. So you want to really nurture your ability to play with a ringing open sound. And this is a little paradoxical because you're trying to play very soft. But I strongly recommend that you play this in the comfort zone with a ringing sound and then work on becoming more comfortable with your breath control and your support so that you can gradually play softer and keep that ring in the sound. That's the key to playing good pitch. And even if you're a little bit out of tune, if you keep the ring in the sound, it will still sound closer to the pitch. It will sound better. It will sound more natural to an experienced ear. So rhythm is another aspect. And again, if you're studying this with a teacher, you know that you have to subdivide. In other words, you're in 6/4, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and D, D, da, 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 D, dom, da, D. So you're subdividing 16 notes. That's quite a common thing that we have to do. However, what I'm going to suggest is that you don't only subdivide them mentally. That's a great way to practice. Use a metronome to subdivide. Many ways to use a metronome to practice, and this is a great excerpt for using a metronome, especially on the big beats. If you could set up your metronome, and there are some apps that do this, where you go. So you're feeling the inside and synchronizing with that big beat. You have to be making all the connections with the subdivision. Great way to practice it. So when we get to that 16th, first of all, it's pronounced. So great way to practice it, and I do this frequently. You see what I'm trying to do is feel the subdivision, feel the swing of those 16th notes going through, flowing through. But I'm playing with the lengths of the notes. I'm playing with the gesture of the notes. That keeps it musical. And if you can do it and get relaxed with it so that your tongue is fluid and not rigid, it's going to make this way, way easier to play. So those are a couple little tips that I want to give you to get you started. And we'll dig into this a little deeper later on. So I hope you come and join me. Have a great day, and I will see you on down the road. Bye-bye.